What's up, YouTube? Armand here, E equals MCU, and there has been quite a bit of news today, so I'm going to try to remember it because a lot of it is off the top. But we're going to get right into this news today, okay? All right, first things first. I apologize if the microphone is low. Um, this microphone, some days it's loud, some days it's low, some days it just doesn't work. And the other microphone that I have is not meant for on video. I'd have to put it up to the microphone up to my mouth and then probably do some different kind of video or different orientation. And then the AirPods are just the sound quality is just not great. So I do apologize if it does not come out clear. I know it was working just a second ago when I tested it. It was just very low, lower than normal. So all right. So to the Marvel news for the week, or actually for the day. And last night it was actually quite a bit, and there's a lot swirling with the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, which yesterday I called it Homecoming just out of sheer frustration of recording that video like 3 or 4 times. It just sometimes, just like what I made the mistake about Buck and Wesley. So moving on. All right. Has Marvel Studios found its Jubilee? According to reports, there are rumors swirling that Marvel Studios has tapped the Avatar 3. I believe she was in Avatar 3. I don't know if she was in 2. Avatar 3 star Trinity Bliss as their Jubilee. Now, in responding to the rumors, Trinity Bliss has come out and denied it, like 90% of all Marvel actors that have been cast before, or the news of them being cast has come out before they've actually officially announced it. Most of them will deny it off rip. She has done the same. She has denied it. But I will say, if she is Jubilee, it has my stamp of approval. I have not seen the latest Avatar movie, um, but if she's in a James Cameron movie, she can act. I'll put it that way. So, um, let me know down in the comment section how you feel about that. If you are familiar with her work, are you happy with her potentially being Jubilee, and are you happy to be getting Jubilee in the new X-Men once they come up? I don't know how they're going to. I would like to see them follow a story like with X-Men 97 or X-Men animated series, how they Jubilee was the character for the audience. You know, everything was kind of through her purview. Um, I wouldn't be mad if the movies did the same thing, but they did say that they had Kitty Pryde Shadowcat also on the team, and to me, they both kind of play the same roles, just different stories. So it's like I thought maybe you would do one for one movie and then one for a different movie, and then however you want to use that for the trilogy or what have you. But um, moving on to the next piece of news. Let's see, going off the top here. The next piece of news was that Sean Gunn did an interview and he responded to I think it was a question about potentially having a Guardians of the Galaxy 4. And basically what he said was if they have writers, they have a script, they have a plan, they have an idea, if they have all those things, he would potentially be down to do it. Now, I saw this on the Direct, on MCU Direct news outlet. I've seen this been reported other places. Now you got to remember, this is Sean Gunn. This is the brother of James Gunn. If they do another Guardians of the Galaxy 4, it wouldn't be under James Gunn. I have a couple thoughts on this. His answer of saying he would be down to do it if the script and everything was right was his way of, I guess we'll just say G checking Marvel Studios, which I think we know how this would end up because we've seen this kind of thing with Blade and with other Marvel Studios projects. Anytime, if the actors aren't under contract and they have a say so about coming back. So if you approach them and say, hey, I want you guys to come back and do Guardians of the Galaxy 4. If you don't have all those guys signed, you got to figure out who you can get back and who you can't. I suspect most of that cast is very committed to James Gunn. Although, Star Lord, the actor that plays Star Lord, he said that he would be down to come back. But I think a lot of it kind of comes down on, if we come back, is this gonna feel like the same Guardians? Is this going to be like a James Gunn kind of Guardians, even though we can't get James Gunn? It's kind of how I get it. So with his brother saying what he's saying, basically a Guardians of the Galaxy 4 is not going to happen. It would never happen, because unless they found someone who I would dare say was James Gunn approved, nobody can do James Gunn like James Gunn. So if you're the cast and you're looking for a James Gunn type of script and you get something that's not off, you're not going to agree to come back. Now, what Marvel Studios could do is just do the new team and then cut out some of the older actors who were from the previous regime and just say, this is our new Guardians of the Galaxy. We're going in a different direction. Because I think I did see something in the news outlet saying that, who was it? There was somebody they were saying that they had in-house that they were going to give Guardians of the Galaxy franchise to. Darn it. I wish I could remember which director it was. I can't remember if it was one of James Gunn's guys or not, though. Man, who was it? It was somebody they were saying that they had in-house that if they were going to do a 4, they would potentially do. But I fully expect it to be with that new team, and they would probably maybe have Rocket Raccoon in group, but I don't know if they get Bradley Cooper back as Rocket Raccoon. I mean, I guess if the check was big enough, he'd probably still do it. But most of the other parts of that team were, I don't know. It's tough to say. It did hint in that article that they would kind of tweak the team, and I think they even have like Captain Marvel on the team or something like that. So I don't know. They might just do Annihilators and just and kind of just in my opinion, considering everything that's going on politically, if that merger holds, James Gunn will be stepping down 1201 from when that goes into effect. He'll have his letter and everything written up, and he will be back at Marvel Studios. I think the question is, what's his working relationship with the Russo brothers? Because I believe Kevin Feige wanted to have James Gunn be his successor, and now he actually has experience running a studio. But also, if Feige hands the keys to the kingdom to the Russo brothers before James Gunn comes back, will the Russo brothers still want James Gunn back? And in which they had worked with, you got to understand, they've been in the parliament, or not part of the producers parliament, but they've been at those retreats together for 10 years. They started working on Guardians of the Galaxy after Avengers, so we're talking like 2012, 2013. And the Russo brothers were brought in at the same time to work on Captain America Winter Soldier. So I imagine that their relationship is really good. He did help them with Avengers Infinity War and Endgame to incorporate those characters. So I would imagine that's all family. And if James Gunn wants to come back and the Russo brothers are running things, I'm sure they would welcome him back with open arms, and he would get Guardians of the Galaxy, or he would probably get maybe even a new IP to do a trilogy on that he can just kind of do his thing, and that's kind of off in its own corner. So don't discount or not count him coming back to Marvel Studios, because at the end of the day, like, you've seen the working relationship that all of those guys have, and it is, for them, it is like family. So they would welcome him back with open arms. Like, he couldn't turn down the opportunity to run DC Studios. He could not turn that down, and they were there for him when the higher ups at Disney were not. So I think either way it goes, he's good. So. But in response to Sean Gunn's comments, I definitely think that is him saying, yeah, I would come back, but under certain conditions. And Marvel Studios is going to be like, well, this is our IP, blah, 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 blah. So, and I think something similar happened with Blade, as far as with Mahershala Ali wanting the script and the movie to be a certain way, and Marvel Studios not wanting to do it the way he wanted to do it, and they just stalemated it. And that's what it was. So now, a couple other pieces of news. Reportedly, and this is also from MCU Direct, reportedly, the Young Avengers will have an appearance, and it's bigger than a cameo, but they will be in Avengers Doomsday in a very important role. And they compared this role to Scott Lang in Avengers Infinity War, meaning that it's very pivotal. So it's something that they do or got going on that's going to play a major part in Avengers Doomsday. They're not going to have a big part. They're not going to have a lot of screen time, but it's going to be a very important part. And, you know, honestly, that's what the Russos do best. I really want to see the Russos get their hands on every single character and IP Marvel Studios has. Because if they're going to be sticking around for the next 5-10 years, you want them to set every IP off on the direction that they want them to go. Because when you have them and Feige and all the creators on the same page, it makes for better storytelling interwoven throughout the process. So that's why, me personally, I want I keep calling them the Netflix heroes. I want the Defenders to have some sort of role in these movies because I want the Russo brothers to get their hands on them and say, okay, this is what they're going to be dealing with in the next saga. This is how it's going to interplay or intermingle with our other characters. And then they'll just be off in their own corner, much like how the Guardians or the Annihilators or somebody would be. So that's what I want. That's good news to hear. I do wonder what the roster is going to be, like who all that they have in mind for the roster. So I do I'm intrigued by that aspect of it. But per reports, they will be in the movie, important role. Okay. So now with all of that said, there was there was something else. Man, you know what? Those three. Oh, there was a new Daredevil teaser release yesterday that I thought was kind of cool. I love what they were doing with the camera with it. It did have a couple of new shots in it. I'm gonna have to take a look at it and maybe, you know, see if there's something new in there as far as Easter eggs or anything like that that I can catch. But there is a new teaser out there that's kind of cool. What they did with the aspect ratios and some of the camera tricks and stuff. You know, it almost reminded me of like how they used to advertise 3D trailers and stuff, how everything comes out of the, you know, the screen ratio thing. So check that out if you get a chance. That's definitely on the horizon. And then of course everybody is just wanting to know, when are we getting this Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer? You know, there's reports now, they've said, you know, next week, next Wednesday, but now there's reports that it's only a teaser trailer, which that's what you would get first anyways, a teaser trailer. But the full trailer wouldn't be out for another 6 to 8 weeks after that, which is cutting it pretty close to the movie. But again, Hollywood is changing. The movie doesn't come out till July. I don't think you need to have trailers out, because the thing I think maybe their understanding is that there is so much distraction when it comes to entertainment. There's so much distraction out there. When you have a product, especially as strong as Spider-Man, and you want it to cut through, you can afford to do. They could afford to hold that trailer until June, to be honest with you, because if the trailer's good and they know they got a good movie on their hands, you wait until like a few weeks before the movie comes out, you have everybody at a fever pitch, and then they don't have to wait that long to go see the movie. And that may translate into more butts in the seats, as opposed to, hey, we dropped the trailer 6 months ago, a year ago. People have forgotten that it was out there because there is so much content and distraction out there. So do not get hung up on the fact that they have yet to put out the trailer. In my opinion, they can probably hold on to that even longer if they wanted to. So, but man, I think that's all we're gonna cover today. I think there was something else. It was so much stuff I couldn't keep track of everything, to be honest with you. It was like I found about 4 or 5 things that I thought were interesting. But I'll pick it up next week. You know, we'll pick it up next week and get ready for this trailer and get ready for Daredevil. And man, it's like I said, I'm hyped. I'm excited. I hope you are too, as Marvel fans, new and old. I hope you guys are excited for what's to come this year. And I think we should really relish in this, because if there's anything we can learn from the Infinity War days and Endgame days, is that don't take it for granted. You know, you start getting good projects back to back to back to back to back. You know, you're in a golden age. you can't take it for granted. Nobody knows what the future holds for anybody. So, with that said, stay safe out there on the Friday the 13th. This is Jason Voorhees Day. Don't mess around. And until next week, Marvel fans, peace.